acclaimed costume designer with a career spanning over 30 years. Her work, meticulous, deeply researched, and always impactful, has elevated some of the most iconic films in Indian cinema, including Mujib, The Making of a Nation, Aligarh, Bose, The Forgotten Hero, Zubeidaa, Dil Se, Sardari Begum, and The Making of the Mahatma, among many others. Her contribution to television is equally distinguished with acclaimed projects like Samvidhaan, Siyaasat, and Gandhi, directed by Hansal Mehta and currently in post-production. Internationally, her work on the BBC's docu-drama Last Days of the Raj earned her a BAFTA nomination. At her home ground, she received the Lux Cine Zee Awards for Sardari Begum, and most recently, the prestigious Dadasaheb Phalke Film Foundation Award 2025 for her outstanding contribution to costume design. Ms. Benegal is also the daughter of legendary filmmaker Mr. Shyam Benegal, and today she steps into a new role as a film producer, carrying forward a rich legacy of thoughtful, meaningful storytelling. Please join me in warmly welcoming Ms. Pia Benegal. I now call upon Ms. Pia Benegal on stage, and to felicitate her, I call upon Mr. Devajit Bhuiya. I would now request Ms. Pia Benegal to say a few words.
I wasn't expecting to be invited to this, actually. This was really a surprise when Arjun sent me a message and invited me to the Solstice meet here. And I'm very grateful. I'm actually very happy to be here. And thank you very much. And I'm happy to see so many people. Okay?
Introduced to the commendable work of Ms. Pia Benegal, it's time to begin our fireside chat, an engaging conversation on a question many writers dream of. What does it take to get your books to the films? Joining Ms. Benegal in this discussion is Mr. Rishabh Dubey, known by his pen name Critias. Rishabh is a multifaceted artist from Lucknow who moves fluidly between literature and music. As a best-selling author, he has penned a wide range of works from science fiction and thrillers to superhero fiction, short stories, and poetry. His titles include Cricos, The Vertical Horizon, DEV, The Mango Man, and The Critias Verses. Most recently, he introduced The Mango Man into a vibrant superhero comic, followed by an animated film. Beyond writing, Rishabh has also made his mark in music with his debut album Embrace the Chaos and singles like End of the Change and the satirical Love You Amazon, blending lyricism with thoughtful commentary. Together, Ms. Benegal and Mr. Dubey will explore the creative and practical pathways from page to screen. Please sit back and enjoy in conversation Ms. Pia Benegal and Mr. Rishabh Dubey. May we have a round of applause for both.
A lot of people have joined us in the morning, so thank you for that. And honestly, I am a bit nervous with ma'am right beside me. And I am rather privileged, honored, ma'am, in your presence. And I mean, you're a creative visionary, honestly. I have my family here, my sister here, and we have honestly seen all of your work and I admire it like anything, right? The theme of today is books to films, and a very important element of adapting books into films is imagining and visualizing it. The cinematic method of creating characters, I'll say it simply, dressing them up, right? Preparing the right colors, the age appropriate, the era appropriate designs and colors is very important. It's one of the most important elements of books to screen adaptation. And ma'am is a magician when it comes to books to screen adaptation. We have already heard the list of the huge array of her work and accomplishments. But today we're going to explore what her experience and her opinion is on books to screen adaptation. And we'll just dive into the first question, ma'am. So the first question that I had, and I was thinking, I had given a lot of thought what I'll ask ma'am today on this day. And the first question that I had was, what is the single most crucial factor in successfully adapting a book to screen? It can be story fidelity or just cinematic reimagining or anything else as per your opinion, anything at all.
Well, first of all, adapting, you choose a book, a short story. It's very important that when you read that, the person who reads that must be totally engaged in that short story book from cover to cover. And all the characters in that short story or book must be very, very well rounded. Every character has to be very rounded and very well developed, and must be must have emotional depth, and must have many emotional arcs and layers to them. Without that, you can't really make it very interesting and exciting. Because when you're reading, it's a different medium, and transforming that and translating that onto a totally different medium like a cinematic canvas is totally different, a different medium completely. So to do that, every character has to have much more complexity. And sometimes you may have to add medium, you may have to add more links so that people, when they're seeing it visually, will need those links to understand what is being said in the story. You know, you don't have the word imagination, you know, your mind to imagine the story in the written word. Here, visually, it's being given to you, you know, in another form. So when the script or is being written, a lot more care has to be put in by the writer, the script writer, with the help of the vision of the director. And the director then comes in and then may see certain shortfalls in the book maybe, and will need to add a little bit, you know. Sometimes there are books that are very descriptive which help, you know, and there are some books that don't have that level of description. You know, it's left to the reader to imagine. So then that takes a lot more effort to translate into a script, and more effort on the part of the script writer, you know.
So, sorry. So do you think sketches or, you know, just let's say we are writing a book and the scene is that we are sitting in IMC hall in Walchand, Hirachand, right? So would it be better if we describe the venue, how the environment is, what was the time of the day, or things like that? Or those things are not important? They can be reimagined by the director and maybe the art director or somebody who's involved in the entire production process, right? Or does the writer in the initial stage of writing have to take those things into consideration?
It really depends on the story and what you're trying to say. For example, we are here in the IMC, but maybe there is there are some people in the IMC who are agitated. And some people are sitting back, relaxed, not paying attention. Somebody's gone to sleep at the back.
Hope not, I hope not.
And somebody's got agitated with that person in the corner snoring, you know. So, and somebody suddenly walked in from that door there, very angry because the lift was not working and has got a sprain in the ankle. Now, these kind of things would need to be written in, okay, into the IMC story in this location. So these kind of descriptions would need to be put into this space so that you will be able to, because that is not imagination. You can't, by just saying that we are sitting in the IMC hall, is not good enough, because all these details would add to the atmosphere. And then you can imagine, okay, there are 40, 50 people, but then all these little things are happening and adding to the atmosphere, you know?
Understood, ma'am. That's actually very well put. It's very, I think Da Vinci said simplicity is the greatest complexity, right? So you have simplified it too much for the authors, but it's definitely a complex process when we are writing. But yeah, definitely we can adapt and adopt such habits to describe in an era of where visual art forms and visual entertainment is the primary form, primary perception of people, how they perceive media, since they are 4 or 5 even, or even 3 years old, right? In this era, for a writer, for a person creating stories, understanding what to do and how to better adopt their stories into a visual format is very important. This actually helps, so thanks for that, ma'am. Textures, they play in retaining the authenticity of the book's world during the screen adaptation.
Oh, they do. Costumes, sets, set dressing, the locations, all these matter a great deal in the storytelling, because, and that's how you maintain the authenticity of your story. The more authentic it is, the more believable it is. Now, if you choose an adaptation, a story from any book, and if you were to choose, if it is not, let us say, Dubai, but you plant the story in a Dubai mall, it's not going to look real, you know. So you need to choose, based on your story, choose an absolutely authentic location which is telling the story correctly. Now let us say you have a story set in a workshop which is in Dharavi, and the family is living above the workshop, you know, and they are working in the workshop downstairs, okay, on the ground level. And then the story is about all those people in the Dharavi lanes, by lanes, and there are, they have a wonderful life, they're doing very well, and then what happens when there are floods in Bombay, which happens every year, but it's a short film, or maybe that's a 1-hour film. And then how do they survive the floods? They survive the government, they survive the police, all these kind of situations. So where are you going to build that set? You can't shoot in Dharavi, it's not possible, it's very difficult. So that's a difficult location. So you may be able to do some of the second, let's say, second camera shoots in Dharavi, just guerrilla shoots, but the actual interiors, you can create a set, you know, somewhere else, and plant your actors and non-actors somewhere else on the interiors. But to make it believable, you will have to create something exactly like that, you know, what is real, and make it believable for the audience, you know. So you have to realize, figure how you're going to do it and make it believable for the audience. And also, it's based on who your audience is, you know. So you choose everything according to that.
I don't know why I'm going back to Zubeidaa. one of my favorite movies when it comes to colors and when it comes to perceiving, just receiving content which is put forward. When I saw it, I was pretty young. My sister's there in the crowd. She's the one who had shown it to me. She's still a die-hard fan of Zubeidaa till date. I'm sure she watches it at least once a month. I'm being very honest here. And I mean, the colors and coming to costumes, they were so wonderfully and beautifully done. I feel like that I have been put back in that era, right? That entire environment. I don't see anything else. When I see Zubeidaa, I see a very royal as well as a very tragic story, right? Both in the same screen at the same time. So, how did you practically implement the costume design of Zubeidaa, and considering books to screen adaptation as the theme, how did you do that?
Well, Zubeidaa was really an amazing experience for me too. It required a lot of research and detailed sourcing. I was given the script, and I was not living in Bombay at that time, so I needed to travel a lot to Rajasthan, Jaipur and things, and meet people in in Jaipur, and do a one-on-one research. Met a royal family in Jaipur, and they were most helpful and helped me with their personal photographs and albums, And that's how I got to know in detail what kind of jewelry, what kind of saris for weddings, festivals, what they were wearing at that time. Now, they were most generous with their information, which was very helpful to me. And I had very dear friends living in Jaipur who also guided me, and I met wonderful jewelers there who told me where I could. But the rest of the stuff I sourced from different parts of the country, and I bought original borders. This project allowed me to buy original borders, original pieces for my main actors, and it was a wonderful experience. With those borders had real gold, So that was quite an experience, and I loved the process. And there were scenes with the main song sequences with Karishma and Rekha ji. I needed really good jewelry, and I refused to compromise and go for false jewelry. So I went to a jeweler and I begged. And I said, please help me. I need really good jewelry. Will you help me, help me, help me? I went with a begging bowl. And then he said, okay, I will give you the jewelry for one day. And he gave me all that jewelry, which was worth 1 crore. And then I brought my close friends. I requested them to come down from Delhi. They were my army on set. And they went around to make sure that my jewelry was not stolen. It was real uncut diamonds and emeralds and rubies, which Karishma and Rekha ji were wearing. And I was so nervous, so frightened, because I had none of that money to pay. It was a very frightening day for me. And I requested the director, Shyam Benegal, please do that sequence in one day, because I have to return everything, because I had been told that anything can happen with real stuff in the film industry. You never know. Somebody may pick it up. You don't know who it is, So I said, okay. So I had my friends from Delhi who came, and they were marvelous. They kept everybody distracted. So I said, chalo, theek hai. Returned the jewelry, and it really, everybody says it looked fabulous. So
It did, ma'am, and very authentic.
thank you.
Ma'am has had like wonderful works, but for me, Zubeidaa always is one of the best to come out of Bollywood and, I'm sorry, Hindi film industry. And yeah, and as we have touched the topic of money, investment now, right? I mean, creating a book, writing a book is one thing, right? And then getting it funded for film adaptation is something completely different. And I'm sure a lot of you might already know that ma'am has now also ventured. She is also wearing a hat of a producer. She has ventured not away, along with costume design, into production. And she can definitely answer this question, that given that films are high-cost ventures, how does funding typically work? And do producers, co-producers, sponsors pool resources, or is funding raised differently for socially driven genres, or maybe budget films or bootstrapped films or things like that? So how do you fund a movie?
Well, I'm pretty nascent in this space. So I would say it's really based on the kind of script you have and what genre you want to be in, or what genre you choose for that film. Now, some people want to just delve into the film festival area. So that usually would be a small budget film, and many people would require very small budgets for that because there's no money to be made there, you know. Then there is, you have the indie films, which once again is very, very small budget and may also remain in the film festival circuit and may be, shown in theaters, but a very limited number of shows. And if it really clicks, then there's money to be made with indie films, and it may do very well, recover the money, may become a hit, you know. So it's, but it's first shown at the film festivals. Then you have the bigger budget films, which are not that big, you know, they're pretty small but bigger. And then you go to the medium and the larger, but funding for all this is not so easy right now. I mean, the industry, based on what I've heard, is going through a churn, and the big producers and production houses already have their financiers in place. It's the new, the younger people and the newer producers who are trying to figure where their funds are coming from. So it's a bit of a, tricky and difficult for people. They have to knock on many more doors. So you can try international co-productions. You can try maybe CSR funds. You can try, like you said, a bootstrap. And really,
Do you actually recommend that for, like, if anybody has, if anybody is fortunate that they are sitting on a corpus of some amount?
I would, if you are willing to sink a small amount of your savings and ask for favors of your friends, that is fine if you have a certain amount of money to spare.
Would that be profitable, do you think? What are the chances?
Well, you see, making a film is a lottery, you know. So but give it a shot, you know. But I'm just saying it's a lottery. So any film, big or small.
This is going to be a quotable, ma'am.
Yeah, it is a lottery, you know. So whatever, from the smallest budget to the biggest budget, it is a lottery. And if it, if it works, it works, and it will work brilliantly. So that works from Hindi to vernacular to anything, you know.
That's beautifully put. I think we can have that on T-shirts, especially in Film City. I think everybody should wear it. That making films, profiting from films is a lottery. So it's not any mantra or any direct process, I think.
No, it isn't. And people need to know that when they're putting, and one has to be very honest when you're going to a financier, that see, I've come with this script, and the script may be fantastic, beautiful, but I'm coming to you with the request that have a look at this is a fantastic script, and believe in me, you know, and believe in this script. But one thing I am going to tell you, that because this financier always says that, are you going to give me, am I going to make money on this? Am I going to make 25%, 100%? So you have to tell the financier that this I cannot promise you. If you're willing to put in that 100 rupees, then it's possible that you may not get that 100 rupees back, but be willing to sink that 100 rupees. And you may not get 1 rupee back. So that's just the beginning of it. Now, if you get that 100 rupees back, that's great. So you may recover just that. Now, regarding profit, if you get 1 more rupee, 2 rupees, that's great. But if you get 50 rupees, that is amazing, you know.
Got it. Yes, ma'am. And 50 rupees, I know 50% profitability is high, even from a corporate standpoint. And I think world is now run by corporates, right? Even
Absolutely.
the film industry. So
Yeah.
that brings me to the next question. We already touched upon how ma'am has ventured into also production, but then going back to costume design and her current project. So what is it that you're currently working on? We went through the humongous list of projects that you've already worked on. I mean, Dil Se is, again, one of my favorite. Shah Rukh Khan is, of course, most of ours favorite actor. And Dil Se, the colors in Dil Se, my God, the red on SRK, whenever he's wearing the light, I think it was light beige t-shirt with a jacket when he was sitting on station before the song hits, when he was drinking tea in the rain. We all remember that movie for its vivid cinematography, and the costume design is amazing. I know it was one of your, it's long back. I mean, Dil Se was before I was born. So that movie predates my conception. So imagine the experience and everything that ma'am has. So coming to your current projects, what are you currently working on? And
well, the most recent project was, and this is in post-production, like it was mentioned earlier, and we're all waiting eagerly for the release of this. Now that I can't, I have no idea when that will be. Working on that was absolutely amazing and exciting. Now that was my second project with Hansal. I'd worked on Aligarh before that. And you touched upon, I mean, after that, I have taken a bit of time after Gandhi to think about possibly starting a kind of enter a production, not production exactly, but be a producer. Because I thought I should have a second area of work also, not only costumes, but this as well. So I've been meeting a lot of writers, and I've chosen a few very interesting scripts, stories, and some scripts, ready scripts also. So now I'm in the process of finding financiers for those stories and scripts, because the stories hopefully will be translated into scripts, and the scripts will get translated into finished, ready scripts to shoot, and then hopefully there'll be funding to make them into films. So that's a ongoing process. So this is where I am right now. But when I get a really good project to make costumes, I'll be there, back to costumes, not running away from costumes at all. That's my first love.
No, you shouldn't, ma'am. And I think cinema deserves that. So you shouldn't be running away from that at all.
No,
We
no.
deserve more of your work on screen, and we actually look forward to it. So now coming to the next era, right? I mean, we live in an era where it's a fast-paced era, right? Today, I think when even my parents are trying to watch a movie on television, they have 15 OTT platforms in front of them. Scrolling through those, it's like I just went back to my hometown. I saw an old VHS tape that my dad used to bring, and we had one movie come in 2 months, which we used to watch in pieces so that we have something to watch the next week. And we never watched it completely, and then we transitioned to compact discs, and then to digital movies. I think we could purchase movies digitally, and now finally to OTT. Such a wide availability of movies in such a fast-paced world, and such small memory retention span of people. So how has this impacted the type of books, and you can even say scripts or screenplays that are being adapted into movies? And maybe we can touch upon regional or historical literature, because that's a prevalent genre.
Well, what I've noticed for OTT, it's opened up the space, and there's a lot available. I mean, people are in the bigger cities, and maybe tier 2 cities. It's not available in the smaller towns. They're not willing to pay for these channels. So that is not happening. And how many people go to the smaller tier 3, tier 4 and go to the villages? Are they really paying for these channels? Nobody's paying for these channels. They're actually watching only Doordarshan, or they have maybe that paid, what is it called? The paid channel that you get the regular news
DTH
and
or
new, what is it?
DTH, I think. DTH services, right?
I don't know. It's
Cable, I think
cable.
digital
The cable.
cable,
You
yeah.
get the cable in the small town over there, and that is a fixed number of movies in a month, and the news and the sports. Yeah. So they have no access to this, and so the OTT that we're really looking at, and all these foreign like Apple and BBC, and then we have Netflix and Prime and everything else. I mean, there's a whole long list of them. They're catering to the modern India, okay, that we are seeing, and then of course the foreign ones are global all over. So that client is supposedly the educated Indian, and she wants to see all kinds of stuff that is available, that is abroad, and so would like to see it in the Indian context also, and also wants to see Indian historical, regional. So it's all opened up the market, and that is being made. It's now available. You know, regional has opened up a lot, you know, and a lot is being made. There's, in fact, I've been told that there are about 26 or 27 new series being available every day. Am I right? I think that is about, that is the number.
Seems like it, ma'am, because
Yeah.
whenever we open the homepage of
Yeah,
any of
every day about
always
26 or
something new.
27 are being released every day on the channels, different channels. Can you imagine how much is available for consumption? How much can you actually see? You know, it's just too much. So then you choose what you can consume in a month. How much can you consume? Whatever your language, you can't consume so much. It's not possible, you know. So then you choose what exactly you want. Do you want crime? Do you want romance? Do you want music? Do you want historical? Do you want something else? Do you want cooking? You know, etc., etc. It goes on, you know. So then the audience gets more discerning, you know, and then accordingly the channels choose. But there's a long list of scripts. People are going with their scripts to the channels and saying that, you know, I've got a script, but then the channels are becoming more, they say that, you know, come with something new. It's not a, it's because there's quite a big glut actually.
It reminds me of a funny thing that we have all just accepted. On our televisions, we call the main page as the menu. Menu is for food, when you have a lot of options to choose from. But on television, I think it has become a menu for us. So we can have spicy, we can have sweet, we can have sour, bitter, or any taste that we want. And I think that's good also, but don't you think from a content perspective, audiences have too much to choose from, and then there is so much circulating around, so it becomes more challenging for authors to create something new and novel?
Absolutely, it does get more difficult because the audience gets tired of this. When you have a lot of cooking shows, then you get tired of seeing so many cooking shows and you just shut that down. Then you go for comedy, and then you see lots of comedy shows, and then you get, it's no longer funny. You know, this guy is not funny any longer, that guy is not funny any longer, she's not funny any longer, you know. Then you shut that down. Then you go for crime and you have about 50 crime shows. Then you say, okay, I've got tired of all the crime shows, they're all looking, they seem the same, you know. So you shut that down. Then you go for the really superficial romances and stuff like that. Then you get bored of that also. Then you go for the Korean stuff, you know. And then that too you get tired of, you know. So then you shut that down.
So what's the one piece of advice you'll give book writers and authors? I mean, we can, you know, it has been a wonderful discussion, but I wanted this advice from you as a young author myself, that what is that one last piece of advice that you'll give, first and last, that young authors should keep in mind if they want their book adapted or make it cinematically viable? I know you already talked about a lot of things, but I think we can end with this, and we can take that away as a takeaway of this conversation.
Well, the most important thing for me is that, see, we're in very dark times. And you have to look at the area, the time you're living in. What is it that you want to say? And what is moving you? What is it that you want to change in your life, in your world? And how can you improve this world? You know, how do you want to help the people around you? Everything doesn't have to be a candy floss, you know. Everything doesn't have to be unreal. It can be real and authentic. And it needs to touch the soul. When it touches the soul, it can be simple. It doesn't have to be complicated and big and huge, you know. It can be small. It can be a small film. But it can really touch the audience's soul. And when it touches, it can work really well, you know.
Got it, ma'am. And thank you so much for those words of wisdom. And I'm really, I think, 20 minutes back, whatever information, knowledge, and perception I had, it has definitely gone up a notch, and I'm sure it has happened with all of us. Please give a round of applause. It's my honor and privilege to host you, ma'am. Please
Thank
have
you.
a seat here. Thank you so much. It was great
Thank
chatting
you.
with you. I think we can open it for Q&A. Yeah. Yes.
Ma'am, it was wonderful listening to you. I'm a poet and I promote a lot of different genres of poetry in Mumbai. So since you have come into production also, and poetry is the mother of all language, and poetry is for revolution, rebellion, and poetry is love. So what do you think is the future of poetry in movies?
Well, I mean, I've seen poetry being used in music.
Yeah, lyrics.
Lyrics, yeah. So that's how I've known poetry being used. But in terms of translating it into a form of cinema, I haven't seen that yet.
About, background, if like lyrics are poetry, all lyrics are poetry.
Yeah.
So why not somebody is reciting poems? Like, this makes it very beautiful. I think you have a beautiful, like you said, lingering in the mind, touching the heart. I think poetry touches the heart a lot.
It does.
Yeah.
It's based on the kind of
Words,
poems and
lyrics,
the words.
yes.
Absolutely,
Yes.
it does. But transporting that onto cinema in terms of it can be done. Let us say you would need music there. Guru Dutt did that very well.
Yes,
In his
yes.
films. The lyrics that he used in his films were very sentimental,
Yes.
emotional, and so they were what you call, when he picturized it, and they were very dark also, his lyrics. So, but they were all poems. So it depends on how you want to actually, I'm using him as an example, so it depends on how you would want to use the poems in a cinematic way.
If I may interrupt you, ma'am, in Jab We Met, the first scene where Shah Rukh Khan comes in and he is reciting a poem, that was so beautiful. Not Jab We Met, sorry. Jab Tak Hai Jaan, sorry. So he's coming in, he's like on the bike and this poem is being recited. I think that's a wonderful thing to, put poetry as a recitation in movies. Just a thought, ma'am.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you so
Thank
much,
you.
ma'am.
And ma'am, I think it has happened in very rare movies like La Miserable and La La Land,
Yeah.
where the entire movie is a musical. And
Yes.
I think Bollywood, Hindi film industry, Indian film industry is famous for adapting music and filling in music.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Thanks, ma'am. Yeah. Thank you, ma'am.